It's the Center Fantasy Football Podcast.
Welcome to the party, pal! Yes! Yes! Yes, this is my favorite part of the game.
Analyzing all of the league matchups week to week.
You can't win!
Get him a body bag! Finish him!
That is a bit above average.
I said this sucks, and basically so do you.
And discussing the boom, bust, and hidden gem players throughout the league.
We ain't found shit!
What the hell is Brett Favre doing here?
I'm in town to play the Dolphins, you dumbass.
Dan Marino should die of gonorrhea and rot in hell. Laces out.
Touchdown!
And here's your host,
Allow myself to introduce myself.
David Harbatkin. Hello and welcome to the Center Fantasy Football Podcast for week 4 or 5 or 6. I don't know. Whenever they play this, we don't know. We have no idea of the 8th season, sort of, whatever you want to call this. I'm your host, David Harbatkin, joined by the commissioner of the league, the top whatever. I don't know how it goes. I don't watch our show, so whatever. Say hi, Manny.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And at the other end of emotions and the screen, the coach of the Hackettstown Hagglers, Mr. Gazeletsky.
Great Grand, treat of the road. What's up, league?
So, obviously, this upcoming week, who knows what's going to happen? The Titans decided to go out and have a COVID orgy, and now they're affecting 4 different teams. So that's great. No idea if they're going to play. They might not. Games are postponed. Nobody can be put on IR. Just absolutely absurd. Meanwhile, some of us have to field multiple teams just to keep. I'd like a burner team. Can I please have a burner team? I need one just to be able to field this week because I have to have my Steelers. Then I have to have the backup for the Steelers. And then if there's anybody on Minnesota, I really hope, by the way, that Minnesota does not go this week, given that you picked up Jefferson for a fee that I was willing to pay. I actually had a bid in for more than that. But you got him. We could go all of that overall.
You have all your money. What are you doing with it? It's all fake money anyway.
It has nothing to do with money. I pulled it back because I didn't have roster space. How many spaces do you think I have? I'm not Whalers. I don't have an unlimited bench. I'm not you who has a burner team.
$2 for Minshew is too much. What, $20 for a good rookie wide receiver is too much? I
was willing to spend the money. I actually had the bid in. For 30, I think it was 31. It was definitely 30 at least. By the way, rocking the Minshew mustache.
Yes.
I tried to get the full Minshew, but I couldn't. So it's more.
Full Minshew.
Yeah, it's more. It's more of. It's more of an Andy Reid. If I had the hat, it would really, or the face shield. That's kind of feeling. All right. All right, let's go over
some donuts with you. That would really make it look like Andy Reid.
If you look at the rest of my body, it looks like I've had some freaking donuts at this point.
He's on the Andy Reid diet.
I'm on Andy Reid diet. I'm turning into him, frankly. All right, let's go to last week's games. All right. So, and I kind of love this, by the way. The NFL has yet to finalize when the Titans Steelers will play. If the game moves to Monday or Tuesday, we anticipate counting the game for week 4 matchups in the season-long leagues, but we will make a final decision after any scheduled change is announced. Thanks. Nothing like clarity. It's not like anybody had any idea that this was a possibility. Like I love the NFL. Nobody knew that, COVID could have affected the season. Why bother having contingency plans in place? It's not like millions of people across the country play fantasy and this affects their league. No.
Yeah, not at all.
No. But all right, let's go over last week's games. We could love this, by the way. This is who your fantasy shop player of the week is. I literally picked him up, and the second after they're already advertising me to pick up Fitzpatrick jerseys. Love that. Next to the biggest blowout of the week, which we might as well start on, as Dave's secret crush. I got an F. You know how you get the grades afterwards? I got an F. I've never had an F. This is unbelievable. I was close to setting the record for the worst score ever. Now, mind you, the coach of Dave's secret crush, who is an avid fan, first time, or not a first time listener, but always time commenter, and I know is watching now. He's going to think that he did well. In fact, he was constantly texting me throughout the game, making me want to jump out of a large building. But the thing is, he didn't do that well either. He proved that he's a fantastic special teams coach. How am I supposed to compete when your kicker gets 25 points? Now, mind you, more who we've been making, everybody that we made fun of. I mean, I know that he thinks that our analysis is shit, which is fine. I can't say anything to the man, being that he had the biggest blowout of the week right after he beat, Geese, making himself look like a genius. But the man, AJ Green, who keeps trying to pedal off, which we keep saying, 8.6, DJ Moore, 8.5. What did Miles Sanders get? He predicted 20. Was 14 below or above 20? There's nothing. CeeDee Lamb, ooh, he was going to be the big man on campus too. 11.6. He thinks that he's a genius. But no, you just happen to play a god-awful shit team that there was almost nothing that I could do with. I mean, what am I supposed to do? So Trubisky, fine, 13.62. But the reason why he only got 13.62, I scouted this game. I picked him up for the week specifically because I'm like, he's playing Atlanta. Atlanta gives up a ton of points. And they'll trail by a lot. And then the next thing you know, Trubisky will get his points in the fourth quarter. The problem is he wasn't allowed to play the fucking fourth quarter. 13.62 he gets. And then they bench him. And then that goddamn piece of shit who ruined my championship. You might as well come in and just also kicked me in the balls with Elliott this week too. This piece of shit, Nick Foles, who's ruined my fantasy career, comes in and steals my points. You combine the two. What did Nick Foles get this week? Where is he? Where is this man?
He would have been a two-time champion. If it wasn't for Nick Foles.
I would have been. All you had to do was throw a fucking quarterback against the Raiders on Christmas Day. Is it because I'm Jewish? Fuck, and then he goes off to win the goddamn Super Bowl? You motherfucker. 23. He got 23. So add the 23. Go back to the 13. I mean, we still lose. Don't let's forget about that. But let's at least acknowledge that this was not the shittiest move. 23 plus, what is that, 39 or something? That's almost in your ranges of your ridiculous quarterbacks. Keelan Cole, I mean, why would he perform on a Thursday night when all of the receivers for the team are out? I mean, he's the number one receiver. Get 8.3. You're great. Russell Gage. Concussion. It's not enough that our team is a bunch of diseased rhinoceros pizzles. They have to get concussions on top of that. Aaron Jones did fine, whatever. Josh Kelly, is this who this is? Amazing. Isn't he the guy that sings Amazing, Josh Kelly? Whatever. Anyway, 5.2. I mean, you need look, that's expected. Whatever. Eckler's the number one guy there, but it's not even that it's so expected. I mean, Fournette with 4.2. Way to go, bud. Way to go. And you have a questionable. I haven't even seen this one. He has an ankle problem now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's going to be grabbing his ankles pretty soon after my team is done with him. All right. And GoDirt.com. If I didn't go with the jumbo package, it would have been even worse. I've seen enough of a sample size from this guy, 1.10 points. Jesus. I mean, the week before, lights it up with 11.5. It's not exactly lighting it up, but it's a decent performance. And Azuma went down. There's a reason why I went to go pick him up, but he just sucks. They all suck. So they're on the garbage can. Anybody who see here is either in the garbage can or on Whaler's team. Because the man just lives like a raccoon in the fucking garbage can, waiting for you to he won't even accept a trade offer. Like, even if you get, this is the funniest thing. I actually, by default, ended up trading with him via the garbage can. I dropped Tom Brady. He, of course, picked the man. He can't resist it. He can't resist trash. You drop it. He's like, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. And then I end up picking up Roethlisberger. So we actually, by default, traded with each other. If I would, but here's the thing: had I offered him the trade, Brady for Roethlisberger, neither one of us would have taken it. But if it's in the garbage can, you can't resist. If it's in a trade, unless you're getting fucked, you can't. You won't do it. Reject. But if you want to actually trade with him, just put it in the trash, and it'll be like, I gotta have him. I gotta have him. All right, moving on to Dave's secret crush. Prescott got 33. We said that was going to be a big game. We said that CD, whatever, the Lamb guy was going to get a big game. He didn't. McLaurin is the other wonderful guy, McLaurin, 12.6. I mean, that is frankly like Megatron in his prime numbers right there, 12.6. Whew, Josh Jacobs, 9.3. My God. So just to 9.3 from Josh Jacobs, 14.7 from, Miles Sanders, less than his kicker. You combine his RB1 and RB2, and they got less than his kicker. But this man is lecturing me about how he's such a genius coach. Kelsey with 14.7, and the Los Angeles defense with 5. Mike Davis, who we picked up for $60 whatever, of course goes off for 23 points. And Fuller, who he's always like, I don't know, why didn't you play Fuller? He was healthy. I don't know. Did you not trust the health, which is something that some people, the homeless people on this podcast, might have said something about? Maybe you were afraid to play him, or you don't want to admit it. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. Your thoughts on this shit show of a game?
That's the worst lineup I've ever seen in the history of fantasy football, probably.
Well, the only thing I have to say is that your performance may have been better than the debate yesterday. But that's not saying much.
Don't worry, I didn't watch either. I didn't watch the debate, and I barely watched this freaking game. I was done.
I have to say that is the worst lineup I've ever seen. Worse than the championship Hagler team.
Yeah, because at least Flacco finished the game.
Right. Flacco wasn't benched, though. He should have been.
I know, and Antonio Gates, unlike Sample, played and scored a touchdown.
Oh, yeah. My quarterback finished, and the tight end did something. It's just the opposite of what you wanted. Out of a dumpster team.
Mm-hmm. Well, if this was a urine sample, it would have failed the drug test.
Urine sample. That's a good one.
I don't know what to say.
Needless to say, these guys all reside in the dumpster now, I'm sure.
Oh, well, except for the ones that reside on the Hartford Raccoons. What about the other team? The greatest coach in the history of his mind.
Weren't you guys looking up where McLaurin was last week in the top 20? He wasn't exactly near the top 20.
Probably, I don't know. I don't pay
fantasy points. Why are we even bothering?
Look, the man, he has the greatest team ever assembled known to man, Lamb and McLaurin. And a running back pair that can't even equal his kicker. He's all special teams. He's a good special teams coach. As he throws things at his TV while watching this, I love it. Anybody?
Well, Sanders outscored Chris Carson by 3 points. That's the only thing I got from his team. But it's under 20, so.
Well, Carson got injured. Also, Sanders played 5 quarters. So,
True. Good point. That is a good point.
He played it was a full overtime on top of it. He amassed 14.7 in 5 quarters.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do the math, how many points per quarter is that? That is
not a lot.
3. Under 2. Yeah, under 3.
Under 3. So then if he played a full game, it would have been 12 something.
12
Right.
points.
11.
Probably matches his yards per carry too.
But he's one of the best. And he's questionable now, which makes me happy too. Anybody who would like to contribute to the buy Eugene a new TV because he just threw his shoe at it while watching this podcast, feel free to contact him. All right. Moving on to the next game. Where do we want to go next?
The next hard, the blowout of the week.
Oh. No, I was the blowout of the week.
I didn't get blowout of the week. That's
I got the honor.
thanks to you.
Yeah. Well, you would have. Sorry.
I would have gotten it.
Sorry, I took it from you.
Stole it from me.
I stole it from you. Well, here you go, gentlemen. This is your game. I didn't watch it then, and I'm not going to really watch it now, but feel free to tell people what happened.
Oh, yeah. I'll let you gloat on this one, Friedman. You've earned it.
Well, so I started with the Thursday night game, which ended up being quite good for me, despite them losing, the Jaguars losing 31-13. It's James Robinson.
It's called garbage time.
With a crazy 30.9 points. I don't know why did anyone do their research on this guy? I mean, he was projected. He was an undrafted rookie, but he was slated to be their starting running back, to get the most touches. He was basically taking Leonard Fournette's role. So I picked him up after the draft, and here he is in my starting lineup, basically almost outscoring Dave's entire team. The trade with the Whalers actually worked out for me this week. I mean, I'm hoping it continues that way, but Eckler with a great performance, 31.3 points. Now, Metcalf was pissing me off because Lockett got fucking 3 touchdowns in the first half. The game was still in the balance at that point, going into the 4 p.m. games. And every time the Seahawks were at the 1, he fucking threw it. So Carson didn't get any points before getting injured. So that pissed me off too. So I feel like I could have had an extra 20, 25 points from those guys if
so you could have been a 200
also,
point guy,
I mean,
join Nick Zaveri.
yeah, it could have been an even better week for me, I feel. Prater was excellent. Arizona defense, I didn't expect much from them, but I'm basically holding on to them until they play the Jets. So that's that. Mahomes was insane. I mean, that Monday night game was just crazy. The Chiefs defense, the Chiefs offense, no one is stopping them. I didn't think anyone would outscore Russell Wilson this week, and Mahomes did. So I'm really happy with my first pick. Overall, it's a great week for me. And, I mean, the game was in the balance until, I would say,
Kickoff.
the third quarter of the 4 p.m. game. So
It was in balance until kickoff.
Well, I mean, his fucking Indy defense was keeping him in the game.
He almost had a kicker-like performance. A Gostkowski-like performance.
And you outpaid me for that defense by like $3. So but it is what it is. I'm very happy with the win.
As you should be. Yep, that was a atrocious embarrassment. So I think Manny said it all. We don't even need to look at the other side because except for the defense, it was a week to forget.
I mean, Sammy Watkins with 13.2. I actually think that's good. Dalvin Cook with 25.9.
Cook, who's not playing. Oh, he is playing. Oh, I'm sorry. He's actually playing.
Yeah.
The top two, Tannehill in the hot tub with Joe Smith. That's who's not playing.
Because Tannehill's
why throw it to Corey Davis when you're in the hot tub with Joe Smith every night?
passing COVID back and forth to each other.
To the whole team. You happy now, Tannehill? Unbelievable. Yeah, that's a wrap to this dumpster fire.
I mean, Barrios, there's some major points on your bench. Whew. Barrios.
How many points did McCole Hardman get? Because I know you were like debating whether to play Watkins or Hardman.
He was not debating Hardman. I said that he should go get Hardman. He was not even thinking about him. But Hardman, the other Hardman, in addition to Jono Smith, not Tannehill's Hardman, 18.1. So Hardman would have been the better play.
Yeah, it does.
Of course. All right, yeah. I mean, I really didn't pay much attention to what you said after your whole Robinson thing and I was drinking. But I'm going to need a lot of shots to get through this podcast. Where else can we move right now where I can be reminded about, how miserable my life is? I mean, we could go to the Lightning Rods versus Tillett-Trey. It looked for a little while like Tillett-Trey might actually have a worse game than me, but that's not possible. As the Lightning Rods moved to 2-1 on the season with a 154.20 victory over Tillett-Trey, who got 91.82. Led by Russell Wilson with 46.80 points. Allen Robinson with 28.30 points. Being thrown to him by half of my quarterbacks, or half of it thrown to by half of the quarterback. Hilaire, 18.40 points, 14.4 to Hunt, which actually I think is a worse game than he's been getting lately. Herndon with 5.0, so that's not that great. Smith-Schuster with 16.3, 9 from the kicker, and 6 from the Tennessee defense. And he had a whole bunch of points on the bench, by the way. Judy with 10.5, 13. Oh, that's not a lot of. Matt Ryan only had 13.42 points in that game. What is going on? I don't even know. Devontae Parker with 11.9 and 16.1 for Singletary. He should have been playing Singletary because I think that he.
Zach Moss is hurt.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't play him there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got too many. I mean, he's got Smith-Schuster. Who are you going to play him over? He's got too many good players.
I would take Hunt out. Chubb gets a lot of carries. I would have played Singletary.
He had 24.1 the last week. They all they do is run it there. Both of them. There's enough for both of them.
I agree. Hunt is a good play on most weeks, but the fact that Moss is out and Singletary gets majority of the carries with Moss out, I thought and Hunt shares with Chubb. But then again, it was only like 2-point difference.
I know. I think if I was doing it, I probably would have moved Smith-Schuster up instead of Beckham. And then maybe put him in the flex. Yeah, but whatever. It doesn't matter. How can I possibly deign to criticize a team that gets 154?
Almost 100 points more than.
Yeah, I mean, like, what am I? Excuse me, sir. Might I suggest that you do this? If you listen to me, who knows? Maybe you could be in the toilet with me. All right. And then looking at Tillett. 29.52 from Breeze. Wow, that's pretty good. Breeze has not been that good so far, but it's nice to get a 29.52. I don't even know what that's like from a quarterback. 5.3 from Cooks, 1.5 from the law offices of Valstez Scandling, 12.6 from David Johnson, 7.1 from Cohen, who's now on IR. Font with 9.6, 7.2 for Frank Gore, and 13 from Lutz and 6 from the defense. He, of course, had nothing on the bench because everybody's injured there. I mean, he might be in a worse situation than me. I actually, I have to golf clap it up for Jimmy. I mean, the man has been Wakanda'd this season, worse than I have, and he's still putting up big, huge numbers that I can't possibly attain, like 91. I mean, like, the man is just. He's a coaching genius.
He's pretty innovative.
I know. I mean, way to go! And he's done it. I believe, if I'm correct, he's made like 2 moves. How many moves has he made? Let's see. Yeah, 2 moves. I don't know what those 2. You might want to. Here's the thing: you might want to make more than 2 moves, being that most of us can't even roster the amount of players that we need. So there's plenty of people available. If you want, garbage pickup is clearly Wednesday mornings at 2 in the morning. You might want to, go dumpster diving. You have plenty to fill it up. Now, I mean, is he even using the IR spots, or can he? I don't even know if he can. They're probably all
questionable.
Yeah, they're all can we never show that again? Why are we back on that game? Get me off of there. Yeah, I guess they're all questionable. I don't know. He's just and what are you gonna do? You're gonna drop Julio Jones, you're gonna drop Devontae Adams. He's
going to be a mob scene in the dumpster fire.
I know.
Those guys.
So like what? He's just fucked. There's nothing you can do. Nothing you do. Good performance by Lightning Rods, and then moving on. Your burner team was in a close game. I mean, frankly, your burner team is looking almost better than your real team at this point. Like, I don't know. You might want to start laundering some players over there. As Gronky Kong, who I guess I begrudgingly have to admit might exist. Either he exists and will be on the show next week, or you've created a whole profile that's finally now responding to the group. In which case
you scored over 300 points between your two teams this week.
You did. I mean,
that's a new record.
It's a good week for me.
Yeah, 300. I mean, like, how many is I would have to.
The other team had $180, so that's like. Whew.
I think you scored more this week than I scored all season. Yeah. I know he's real because he's already making fun of my team via you. Either that or you, because I heard from you that he said that my team is the worst 2-0 or was the worst 2-0 team that he's ever seen.
That is correct.
Which I think is fair. All right, so he pulls this one out, 154.14, against the vaunted Zamunda Lions, who come back to earth, a mere mortal 150. If you're not putting up 200 in this league, you ain't shit. 39.24 from Allen, 12.30 from Thielen. Malcolm Brown with only 3.3, 15.2 from Gurley, 24 from Chubb. That's where a lot of the things are going. Of course, you would know that because it's your burner team. Only 2.9 from Waller. Allen, 30.20 points. That's almost in kicker point range. Wow. His kicker only got 9 and 18 from the Tampa Bay defense. For the Zamunda Lions, a pedestrian 25.7 for Kyler Murray, 25.7 from Cooper Kupp coming back. After disappointing weeks with only getting low double digits. 16.7 from Calvin Ridley, 17.8 from Elliott. Kamara with quarterback one-like numbers at 44.7. Tannehill's lover with only 11.1. 0.90 for Deontay Johnson. Is that who that is? I don't know. Whatever. 8 from Koo. The young ho gets 8 and 0. From the football team. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this is just a matchup of, two good teams. And Gronky Kong, who somehow has never picked up Gronk, wins the game. I don't know what else to say. You want Gronk? I have him in exchange for, I don't know, anyone. I'll take anyone on the team. I'll take Malcolm Brown, 3.3. I'd like to see that kind of point totals. You want to trade Gronk for Malcolm Brown at this point? What do I care? The season's done. Sorry, what were you saying?
A little suspect week from the receivers. So I know you were making fun of his receivers. I mean, in terms of like their names, they're all good.
I mean, everything on this team is suspect. On the burner team, but you can't have everything. You haven't fully laundered it all the way over there yet.
I mean, he has a good team though, considering only 2.9 from Waller, and you're still putting up 154. I mean, it's pretty good.
Ridiculous.
And Josh Allen, Jesus Christ! I mean, who would have thought? Like he's putting up 40 points every week almost.
Who would have thought, other than Manny Friedman on his second team? I mean, basically, we're just storing him there.
Who would have thought you'd have that much storage room?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Zamunda, he's a 2-1. I mean, so Zamunda, who has been putting up massive numbers, has the same record as me. That's the only solace I take from this week. It's the only. That's the
I
only
wonder if
thing.
Kamara is going to keep up his production once Michael Thomas comes back, because it seems like Breeze's arm strength has just diminished like exponentially. Like he just can dump. That's all. He's like the new Phillip Rivers. He just dumps it off to his running back.
Are you trying to diminish the value of Thomas right before he comes back? The one asset that the Hagglers have. Are you really trying to shit on them too?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But Breeze has really regressed.
He got a good point to it. I don't care how he's regressed in real life. Look, Kamara is going to come back down to some level of earth when Michael Thomas comes back. I mean, didn't Emmanuel Sanders get 18 points in this game? Don't worry about it. Thomas will be fine. Kamara will come back, to like.
Yeah, but he had like 2 targets, and one of them was a touchdown. So
who? Well,
for Sanders, like it took them until halfway through the second quarter for like them to even target him once. So I don't know. It seems like every play he's just dumping it off to Kamara for like a 3-yard pass play, and then he just like runs, and that's why he gets his 44.7 points.
Yep.
Yeah, but I do think that. But when Thomas comes back, I think should open it up more. I mean, because I remember watching Thomas last year, and he was just involved in almost every play. It was painful to watch when you were playing against him.
It's been painful to watch this season too.
You don't watch him.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So both of these teams have the same record as me, so I feel good about myself. Moving on. Well, no, let's save that one for last, because that's actually an exciting game. So was this last one. 4 points. Actually, let me comment on that. 4 points. If I wasn't drunk enough to get into this game, I would have paid attention. Wow, that's a big game, and only 0.9 from Deontay. I mean, really, Nicky Baby had this in his hand. What happened? Did he get injured?
Yeah.
He suffered a concussion. Darn. Because really, he puts anybody else in there. He puts in the Houston. If he goes with the jumbo package, does he win? I think. Ooh. If he would have went with the jumbo package, this is a really close game, because you add 4.8, but you take away 0.6. That would have been a fantastic game.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian Peterson would have won the game for him. When Adrian Peterson would have won,
that would have been sad for me to see.
3-0, so close.
Well, I think Gronky Kong needed 6 points on the Monday night game to win or something like that. Well, I'm not going to say more, because then you're just going to accuse me of collusion or whatever.
You can't collude with yourself. There's no collusion.
I'm just not going to go any further, but I think he needed 6 points to win, and he did.
He did. All right. I look forward to having Hirsch on the program next week. Although I don't, because it's there goes all the fun. All right, moving on.
Well, it's because of him that you're wearing the Minshew mustache.
No, I've just been trying to be ridiculous anyway, because nobody sees me except for you guys on this. This is the most formal I get. I'm wearing pants. So, yeah. The true, I'm wearing the Reed. The true Minshew would go down there. I'd shaved it before, and I was just, maybe next week I'll have a Minshew. All right. Moving on to the only 3-0 team, which is the computer. Shocker. Cyberdyne wins this game 139.64 to 127.98. Goff with 31.24 points. He's emerged after the first week blunder. I think he had 10. When did he have that one? 10? Yeah, 10. And then since then, he's had 29 and 31 respectively. Not bad. DeAndre Hopkins with 23.70 points. Amari Cooper with 17.6. 16.7 for McKinnon. And then he has a little lull in this little period right here. 2 points for Deion Lewis and Andrews only 5.2. Mike Evans with 14.2, although he had 2 receptions for 2 touchdowns for 2 yards. So
That sounds like what Manny did to me.
I know. Yeah. Going back to that was one comment that we should have made on that game. He had Hayden Hurst, who had the 1 yard reception for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another player that you had that had like 1 reception for a 1 yard touchdown,
Yeah.
which makes a difference. But yeah, okay.
Daniel Sanders at the time.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. Gould with 14 points and 15 for the New England defense. Lamar, the amazing Lamar, with only 16.18 points. He's not panning out the way that anyone thought. I mean, granted, he's getting more than McCaffrey at this point, but out of the 2 from the championship last year. I don't know what to say. Golladay finally makes a return with 17.70 points, making more than Lamar. 22.5 from Boyd, 27 from Derrick Henry, who finally made an appearance, 13.2 from Taylor. How did Hines do?
That's interesting. After you look that up, see what Cam got this week. Is hockey suffering from the curse of Cam?
Well, he's on the next team. We'll look at it on the next team because it's part of the who we traded to. Mo Ali Cox with 14 points, 7 from the league bitch Montgomery. I can't believe the other half of the trade. 7.4. You happy, hockey? I mean, look, he might actually do well now that Cohen got injured. In fact, I would not be surprised if it was Dr. Hockey that went out there on the field and injured him so that he can get some performance, because otherwise he would be the fool of the league for making a Montgomery trade. 7 for Gonzalez and 3 for the Los Angeles defense. I mean, Diggs with 14 points might have made a difference here, when you lose by 12. It wouldn't have made enough. Wouldn't have made enough. But would have been closer.
Why would you play Montgomery over Diggs?
Because Montgomery is the man on Wakanda.
I mean, just because you trade for him doesn't mean you have to play him. I mean, I would play Diggs any day.
As would I, as would most coaches, but so yeah. So, of course, because Diggs was not played and Lamar only got 16, the team that's not a team, I don't know, which one is less of a team? I can't wait for a Gronky Kong Blues championship game. So the one who really has not done anything or paid any attention is Cyberdyne playing against your burner team. That'll be fascinating to watch.
No, Manny versus the Hackettstown's Finest versus his own burner team, Gronky Kong.
Well, it's going to happen in the semifinals, I think, and then one of them will have to win to go on to play Cyberdyne, who. This is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed not only for myself, especially for myself. I'm definitely embarrassed for myself, but I'm embarrassed for the rest of you. That the Blues is 3-0. His logo isn't even blue. He hasn't even taken the time to get a Blues logo to put on there. There's nothing blue about it. It's purple and yellow. That's he's showing disdain for every one of you in this league. Saying I'm not even going to bother.
I actually offered him a trade, and it just sat there for 2 days. Didn't even look at it.
Of course not.
So.
The computer takes a while to process.
The computer takes a while to load.
I made him a trade offer. He said, "Oh,
Make me an offer."
I made him an offer. Well, I made him an offer. He said he couldn't give up. Tight ends are too valuable. He actually responded. He's alive. I mean, he's not looking at his team. But he's like, tight ends are too valuable. I can't give up Hawkinson for your best wide receiver. So I just threw him in the garbage can. You're welcome, Whalers. You have those. I was trying to do 2-for-1 just so I could unload. I sent him my best 2 receivers. not that they were good, but now they're on the Whalers anyway in exchange for Hawkinson. God forbid, but no, whatever.
Go ahead and make me an offer.
Hasta la vista, baby. Okay.
This offer was terminated.
Moving on to the actual exciting game of the week. As the Whalers escape an 0-3 fate, winning this game 116.88 to 116.46, meaning that Whalers has won the two last contests against this team by a combined score of less than a point.
Wow.
I think it's 0.34. He averages, so I think it's what is that? Yeah, 0.68 total. He's beaten this team by after he had the comeback last year in the semifinal game. So yeah, I mean, if I'm Nick and Jamie, I just don't even know what to do at this point. I mean, like 0-3, the garbage barge. I mean, maybe you should trade him Tannehill and have Tannehill come back and make up their season. So for Nick and Jamie, 21 points for Deshaun Watson. Tyreek Hill with 21.20 points, 25.8 from Michael Gallup, 8.9 from Jake's Cakes, 8.5 from Mixon in 5 quarters. Ertz with 14 points, 1 for Larry Fitzgerald. Butker with a missed kick, extra point that turned this game.
Cost them the win.
That cost them the win. And San Francisco.
The Whalers sent Butker like a gift basket or something. I mean,
unbelievable. I mean, had he played any? I mean, like Fitzgerald, could have played Miller, could have played anybody. Literally, could have played anybody on this bench, except for Ruggs, and they would have won.
Why wouldn't you play Lazard with Devontae Adams out? And
we were talking about that. Yeah,
because they're clearly not fans of the podcast.
According to Eugene, we don't know what we're talking about, but
we don't. Eugene is the best coach in the
Between
history of man.
Lazard and Hill, I mean, they win that game running away.
Lazard is a no-brainer with Devontae Adams out. I mean, his receivers did well, but over Fitzgerald, I mean, come on.
I know. Well, I mean, yeah.
I honestly, I felt bad that Nick and Jamie lost that game until I saw that bench blunder.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't, I'm too busy wallowing in my own shame to feel bad for anybody else, but yeah. For the Whalers, Cam Newton, 13.1. So he did outscore Montgomery.
Yeah, he did by 3 points. No, he outscored Lamar. Lamar outscored him by 3 points. So
yeah, so
good hockey dealt him away.
Tyler Lockett with 37 points, 4.2 for Edelman, another half of another trade that he had made. Would have been nice to have Eckler on there.
And look at Edelman. He's questionable again.
Is he?
Questionable every week. Always questionable. He's a 34-year-old guy that's injury prone.
I mean, I don't know. Whalers has like 20 bench spots anyway, so it doesn't matter. He just keeps churning these guys over. Connor finally. So Connor, after week 1, when he got injured, but ever since then, 20 and 24. So he's actually been really good. 19 from Henderson. This one I was surprised by because I thought that they were saying that what's his name was going to come back. The guy who was the main guy.
Malcolm Brown?
Yeah, Malcolm Brown. But Henderson got the touches. 4.3 from Reed, 6.3 from Slayton, Myers with 4, and Buffalo with 4. On his bench, oh, look at that, Tom Brady. I didn't see those kind of performances before I dropped him in the trash can, but now that he's on the Whalers, I don't know if he's still on the Whalers. I haven't checked the latest, updates. My phone going off every 5 seconds. The Whalers did this. The Whalers did that. The Whalers did this. I don't know if he's still on the team, but he might be. I expect during the podcast, I'm going to see it when this premieres tomorrow. My phone will be blowing up as the Whalers, who I know is a fan.
How many trips from the garbage can to the Whalers team did Traquan Smith make?
Oh, that guy's been on and off and on and off. He's like Hurst. He's like Hunter Hurst. It just keeps coming back. He's like, you're garbage. No. Do I want to throw this? Do I want to throw this half-eaten slice of bologna out? Maybe I'll eat it. I don't know. It's like George Costanza in that episode where it's above the rim.
Mark Ingram is also not panning out that well because they have so many freaking running backs there, and Lamar runs all the time. So,
and Lamar's not running enough.
Yeah,
and he picked up Devonta Freeman. I mean, he spent all that money on running, but then Freeman only got one. I mean, that's to be expected, though. I think he'll get. I don't think he'll do that well because the Giants just are atrocious. But I mean, I think once he learns the system slightly, he'll be better than that. But who knows?
Lockett single-handedly kept him in this game. I mean, he should have lost, but Lockett just went nuts. And every time at the one, they passed the ball. Mm-hmm. So Wilson had, 5 touchdown passes? I mean, it's crazy. And then when Tyreek Hill caught that touchdown, at the end of the first half, I was like, this game is over. And the Whaler, I texted Whalers in the group, you getting nervous, buddy? And he was like, it's over. And, Butker missing those 2 extra points. And, I mean, it was really close, but.
I have to say, this season, I feel like, and I certainly include myself in this, but I feel like the records do not accurately reflect how these teams have played. I've never seen a greater disparity between the quality O team and the record. I mean, it's really, look, the Hagglers, by the way, 438 points. That's more than, or no, that's against. Sorry, you just suck. Never mind. I take it back. You just suck. No, but
clearly.
No, but 404 points for the Blues. I mean, well less than the Zamunda Lions, who are now in second because of record. I mean, we all know how shitty I am, but I've had what's I can't sort it on here, but yeah, I don't know. And look, keep it going. I would love to win. I would love to. I mean, win close games against teams rather than have a high score. I don't care about that. I want to win. I want the ball, and I want to win.
Well, I would rather lose the way I lost to Manny than the way Nick and Jamie lost to the Whalers by any day of the week.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Any day of the week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's painful. I mean, for Nick and Jamie.
Yeah, because
as you said, I'm worried about the Whalers because, as you said, that they always find a way to put a good team on the field and be competitive. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it would have been nicer, but it doesn't. I mean, and he's already doing it. He's the one who's just snarfing up everybody in the trash can. I mean, some things eventually is going to stick when you have that much churn in the can. I mean,
I feel like I'm rooting against you out of respect because you've made so many finals.
Who?
The Whalers. I feel like I'm rooting against him out of respect. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, no. I mean, I just root out of. You root against him out of respect because he's just. Yes, I get it.
Yeah,
because
he's always a competitive coach, and I don't really want to face him late in the season, in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody wants to, eventually, well, it's not even that he's look, if he was the actual Bills where you're like, oh, you just keep losing. Eventually you sort of get to a point where you're like, all right, just step off the stage. I'm done with you. But if you're like the Whalers, I mean, he wins everything. This is just his one that he hasn't. This is his white whale that he can't get. So he's like the Yankees or some good team where you're just like, all right, just lose already. And it's nice to know that he at least has not won this. But I mean, you worry that he's going to do that all the time. 29 moves. But who am I to talk? I have 28. Hagglers, what's going on with you? Only 19.
Well, we would have had more moves, except our team got derailed. Our team got frozen.
Yeah. All right. And we have plenty to talk about in regards to that. But let's take a quick break. And then we will talk about that right after this. Go over the free agency from this week. I don't know what to say at this point. So, all right, we could look at the free agent bids. So Justin Jefferson went for $20. Wow, you're bidding against yourself, Gronky Kong. Only bid 11. Way to make it look honest there.
Yeah, way to make it look interesting.
I'm surprised he didn't bid 19. You're good at this. You're good at this. He bid 19.
Perfect bidding.
I think 19 would have been too obvious. So they'll make it 11 so that, whatever.
11 is my favorite number. It's obvious.
It's obvious. Wait a minute. Ayuk was picked up by the Whalers for $6, and I just picked him up out of his trash can. This is ridiculous. I just picked him up. Okay, well, Ayuk, he spent $6. He literally threw that $6 in the trash can because I think he dropped him 4 hours later. This is the case. See, I made a trade. I made another.
He only has $43 left for the rest of the season.
I know, so just blow the $6 in this. Another trade. That's the second trade I've made with Whalers via the dumpster this week. I traded. Yeah,
inadvertently trading through the dumpster.
I know this. I think he got a 2-for-1 on that, frankly, because he got AJ Brown and he got Marvin Jones for Ayuk.
Well, Samuel's actually practicing, or he's actually back to practice this week. So Ayuk might not be the best pickup.
I mean, whatever. There's a whole dumpster worth of people.
Yeah.
Carlos Hyde goes for $40, awarded to the Zamunda Lions. Darrell. Oh wait, and that's it. That was all the competitive things that went on. In terms of all transactions, I mean, this is just going to be a ridiculous list since I don't even know where you start on the. Okay, so it started. I know the conspiracy theories will start to run where Lombardi thinks that I have some extra access that I don't. But as I said, if you go on at 3:01, which I actually was late to the party, you can pick up the people that weren't picked up. Anyway, Gronk. Picked him up since I didn't have a tight end and I had to drop the sample size. I mean, I dropped a whole bunch of people before that. And then we go down to dropping him. He sucked, and him, and him, and him. And then I drop AJ Brown because I needed a quarterback because I didn't know if Roethlisberger was going to play. I still don't know if he's going to play. I don't get to put him on any, so just, fuck me. Preston Williams, he's going to throw to him. I mean, might as well. Who the hell knows what I can do? Picked up Renfro, dropped Renfro. I'm sure he'll be on the Whalers before he drops him again, and we'll see what happens there. Would have loved to have bid on Jefferson. As I mentioned, I bid 30 or 31. I don't remember, and I pulled it back because I'm like, I don't know if he's going to play. Hayden Hurst, you dropped for him, who was picked up by the Whalers again. The one bid that went through for me, which was Cole Beasley for $10. What a waste of money that was. I mean, he'll play, but didn't need to spend the money. Just whatever. Jimmy Graham goes for $6. There's the 6 for Ayuk. Foster Moreau for $5.
Who?
I mean,
wow.
I know Eugene says I don't know and my football players, but who?
Foster.
Is that Australian for something? Fosters?
the island
for who?
I mean,
Banana Foster.
He was in serious risk of being outbid there. I'm telling you, Nick. I mean, good thing you put in the $5.
Is that that's a tight end to replace the hot tub. Tannehill's hot tub partner.
Yeah, that's what he was doing, but it's hilarious to me.
Doesn't Vegas have Waller?
Yeah. I mean, and Moreau got a touchdown. Like, this is my problem with the Raiders, and this is why I eventually ended up dropping Renfro's because you never know which one is going to do well on which week. And Moreau is somebody that comes in there all the time and will, take up points from Waller, will take up points from Brentford, and you just don't know. Like, they'll go off on certain weeks, but you just don't know which one's the week's going to be. Like, so Moreau, I guess.
The island of Foster Moreau.
Yeah, he got 10 points. So he had 2 targets, 2 receptions, 25 yards, and a touchdown. So, he snarfed up a touchdown there on the goal line. But I think, look, Nick is a Raiders fan, and I think that he severely overestimated the demand for Raiders tight ends other than Waller.
So what's the worst transaction? $5 for Moreau or $90 for Hines?
$90 for Hines. You're never going to get out of that one. Dallas gets picked up for $3. Then I pick up Ebron, drop Jones to the Whalers. And then Jeffrey gets dropped for Brown, then Jones for Ayuk. There's the trade there. Hayden Hurst gets picked up from you. The Young Ho goes down. Randy Bullock gets picked up. Randall Cobb, would have loved to have had him, but I didn't know he was gonna. I didn't know if he was gonna play this week. So how am I supposed to draft for that? I don't have room because I have to field my Steelers team, but then I have to field their backups too, and nobody's on IR, so I can't put anybody anywhere. So just fuck me. Might as well go get it.
Oh, and then someone dropped Moreau.
Oh, he dropped me. He spent the wow. There's so many people that are having money spent on them and then just dropped like right after. I mean, like some people are treating it like the true fake money that is whatever. I can splurge on a Moreau here. Take a Moreau. In fact, here, let me just.
Is that your garbage can? There you go.
My garbage can. So let me just throw that $5 right in that garbage can, right there.
Please remember to recycle.
Excuse me while I go get this because it is an actual $5 bill, and I might forget about it down there. Okay.
Minshew.
Is Minshew still on your burner team?
Nah, well, I forget.
I think he is. Or he might not be. I don't know. Whatever. It's not like I'm going to go pick him up now. It doesn't matter. I'm glad I didn't pick him up. He actually saved me. He actually, by having Minshew, he gave, thank you for the extra 5 points that I got from Trubisky. Let's see, Minshew. Where are you now?
What a shitty game.
He is on GrockyCon. All right. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. I know you have a commentary, Geese, about the ridiculousness of this waiver wire.
I did until the latest news from the NFL's COVID debacle. Now I'm disgusted and reserved about any of my comments about this quote-unquote league. As I watched Fitzpatrick and Jefferson moving on up to other teams while we sit here wondering if our players even have a game. And now we know that some of them don't.
Or might.
No, not even. Pittsburgh and Tennessee are done.
Are they done? Did that just happen?
If you look at my next week's roster, they're already 0 for my quarterback and my wide receiver. Once we get to next week's games. For those of us who have a game.
Well, so that did happen because they were talking about, literally at the beginning of this podcast, it said the notes.
It says postponed PPD next to their schedule right now.
No, I know, but that's what it said. But then they said they didn't know if they were going to move it to Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, don't worry. My players, they've already decided. My players are deemed.
Are they? Let's see.
Heavens forbid.
Oh, yeah, they actually.
Oh, of course. That's perfect. Who needs those two guys? Who needs those two guys? Nice.
There's not even an update on this. I don't even know.
No, don't worry about it.
I mean, but why? Because they said maybe. First of all, the idea that they're going to play, they're locked out of their own facility until Saturday. We're just going to line up on Sunday and get your. Let me tell you something. If that was the case, give me the Pittsburgh defense. I mean, do you know how sloppy that game is going to be? If it goes, but I don't know. It should be postponed. But then, like, why would there not be a contingency plan in place where people? I can deal with not, like knowing what it's going to be, but it's not like, this wasn't known. This was a possibility. How do you have no contingency to say that this is what happens when this has happened? I think we all just naively went on and went like, yeah, I'm sure they have a plan in place.
No, what did it say? If the game happens Monday or Tuesday, then it's for this week?
I think that said it at the beginning of the podcast. I don't know. It's changed. Apparently, there's no notes anymore. Say anything different now. No notes. There are no league notes. View all. Maybe it's changed. Oh, yeah. So the NFL has yet to finalize when the Titans Steelers will play. If the game moves to Monday or Tuesday, we anticipate counting the game for week 4 matchups in the season-long leagues, but we will make a final decision after any schedule change is announced. So they're basically like, yeah, we don't know. Fuck you.
Or even better, we don't care. Yeah, we have your money already. We don't care.
Yeah, like at least if you say like, all right, it's just, how are you supposed to build anything off of this? Because right now, the Hagglers, for example, it's their quarterback and their wide receiver one. Can they even, so they have to just house them like on their bench?
First of all, here's the problem. There's no roster space to just house people. Because you're not declaring them any type of IR.
Right.
They're not even questioned. They're just there. They're just here. Deal with this. Deal with these extra players. So then there's no place to put them.
Yeah.
Okay. If you had a special COVID IR, which we should have just had unlimited IRs, but we couldn't even have them because we discussed this with the Whalers. If we had unlimited IR spots, anybody or COVID IR, the whole league would be on his bench.
They already almost are.
Held hostage. There are already 25 people on his roster. He would have to scroll all the way down to the end of the. But if they could be declared, I don't know, some special. I mean, there has to be a place to put these. You can't just be like, okay, here, hold on to these guys.
Yeah, but they're not. But that's the thing. You can't, even if they were declared COVID IR, they're not even COVID IR at this point because they're just there. You can't even even if you had unlimited IR, you couldn't put them on IR because they're not eligible for IR.
No, they're just
there.
They're just here. Shove them up your ass because you can't do anything with them.
I mean, I was talking with Nick earlier today because he was like, something should be done about this. And we were going through a lot of these contingency plans. And one thing that we could maybe do, and, getting anything passed in this league is worse than trying to get it passed through Congress. But, I mean, we could try to do something where there's like an exempt list kind of thing where you can drop them, but they're ineligible to be picked up based on a list that the commissioner would write down, you would have to inform the commissioner, like, all right, I'm dropping Tannehill and Davis for this week because they're clearly COVID postponements.
It would have to be like the commissioner's exempt list.
Yeah, like a commissioner's exempt list. And then say to the league that you can't pick these up. And if they do get picked up, that, you overturn it or something, and just make the list.
On my burner account?
What?
Can I just put them on my burner account for now?
Yeah, just make Gronky Kong just have 30 people. Just create another team. Let's have another team. Yeah. Can we add another team to the league right now? The Burners? Or the Covidians? Just have another.
Here's the problem that the Hagglers faced this week. Okay, so the quarterback who was going to play, maybe we don't want to drop Tannehill. We were going to pick up Fitzpatrick, right? But the problem is he's getting 0. Okay, there's no place to put him. Okay, Thomas conveniently is back from out the questionable, even though there's no sign of him touching the field. He's supposed to be back, right? So now there's no IR eligible players. So the bench is already jammed. Okay, now the wide receiver Davis, who's probably in the hot tub with Tannehill and Jobu Smith. Okay, he's not. If these two guys up top were able to be put on IR or some type of special COVID list, that's fine. Now I can go out and get me and bid on a Fitzpatrick or another wide receiver like Jefferson moving on up. That would have been a nice place to bid as well. All right, put those guys in, but you can't do that now. All right, and none of the guys on the bench, I mean, they're not scintillating, but I'm not ready to drop any of them. And whatever money I bid, let's just say I drop some of these guys to hell with it. I'm going to bid. Like, what happens next week or the week after that when somebody else gets COVID? Then you're going to be out the bidding money. So you got to hold on to your money. You got to basically take it in the tailpipe on your roster and basically take an L for the week. What are you going to do?
Yeah, and frankly, it's the same. I did the same calculation here, but I did the opposite. It was like, I ended up dropping AJ Brown, who I don't want to drop, but like he's not going to play, and I need some space for players that are going to play. So I drop him, and then Whalers gets to pick up somebody that theoretically is going to be a good player, and same thing with Marvin Jones.
So that's and the foul afterwards. The NFL released the fact that the game was postponed after Wednesday at 3 a.m. Had they done it Tuesday sometime, like as fast as they could have, then you could say, okay, I know these guys are out. Let me go bid. No, they waited. So Tannehill and Davis were still eligible to play until like sometime Wednesday afternoon they made the announcement. So they waited until after the free agency period was gone and all these players were snarfed up. And then, oh, by the way, here's the extra kick in the tailpipe. Your players are not playing.
And by the way,
now you're forced to sift through the absolute garbage that's left in the dumpster.
And then on top of that, we still have not gotten word yet about Minnesota and Houston.
Oh, they better. Oh, I bet. What do you mean? That's still up in the air? So more? There's more coming?
I mean, we don't know. I mean, like, so far, I think that they haven't tested positive yet. But, I mean, look, Tennessee.
Oh, boy.
But what? Did you see something
I'm
new?
saying there's more people that are going to be ineligible for the Hagglers.
I mean, Tennessee played Minnesota. I mean, like, it's a highly contagious disease, and these are sweaty men falling on top of each other. You're telling me that it's a miracle if nobody passed it along.
Well, that's the thing. You know that Minnesota's not going to release that information.
Right. Their doctors are like the Houston Astros doctors at this point, probably. They're fine. They're fine. Don't worry about it. We checked. It's good. It's all good. And then, like, it's ridiculous. And then, but like, okay, let's say that Dalvin Cook,
perfect.
Goes down too. Then you have Madison. So, like, let's say, I mean, we still don't know if they're going to postpone this game. I mean, like, so far it looks like it's not. It looks like that game might go forward, which, of course, fuck me, so that Jefferson could play. The guy who I was going to go bid on, or who you were going to bid on, or anybody would have bid on, but you get for $20 because you have the luxury of being able to do this because none of your players are really affected by this.
On either team, the burner team or the original.
Yeah, nobody's amazingly. In fact, I'm pretty sure that if it's not a burner team, you actually send Hirsch out to Tennessee to infect these players because it would just completely fuck us over. He's part of your banana peel department. So, yeah. So, but imagine if Cook goes down. Like, imagine if they say, you know what? We decided that actually he got infected now, and Cook is. So Minnesota can't play their game either. We don't know. That's up in the air too. So now you have to. What are you going to do with Cook and Madison? But there's no place that you can store them on. Can you literally fill the team?
What I'm saying, you literally can't even put them anywhere.
Well, I actually like your idea about the just you can drop them, but no one can pick them up until they play their next game.
Yeah, or like or until
the game is scheduled.
Yeah, or until Tuesday or whatever it is. Like you get the right of first refusal. You pick them up on Tuesday for nothing. After
right.
Nobody can play with them that week or something. Like you inform the commissioner or something that they're exempt. You have to make the list public. I don't know. We'd have to get 6 votes. We'll see what the reaction is after this podcast, where everybody's already throwing their shoes at the TV because we make fun of them. But I mean, it's a practical, solution that could get, if people are interested, maybe because I'd be in favor of something like that, because I think that this is already pretty ridiculous. But I mean, like, if this happens in like, the championship week, somebody's going to be livid. I mean, like, granted, there won't be as many people ready to snarf up players at that point.
Right.
like week 12 where somebody has to make a playoff and then it's like, well, sorry, you have to sell out your whole team. And then, somebody just gets a super team because you just have to, make
Yeah,
room that week.
we could do that, or we can just add a couple more, maybe add 2 more bench spots. But I like the first idea better because then these people are just gonna snarf up some more trash.
That's the problem. I would be in favor of 2 more bench spots. The problem is that we all know that something like that, the more bench spots you give, the more whalers there are in the league. I don't know. I mean, like, I guess we could theoretically try to do like bench spots that you are not allowed to fill except for COVID players or something. We might be able to do something like that. Like that might be a way to I don't know, but I like the I think that it has to be something where you're like declaring.
I think it's just a shame that you can't put those players in IR.
I know. I mean, and the whole point of extending the IR for this season was for this reason, and now we can't even do it. Like, what was the point of that? I mean, and to be fair, I'm not. I kind of like having the 3 IR, and I think that it's beneficial, especially since there are way more like hamstring injuries and stuff like that are going on anyway. So I don't think that I'm not upset at all by having more IR spots. But, and obviously that can or whatever be revisited next season. But I mean, the fact that there's no contingency for this that can be done is it's a problem. It's a problem, and yes, it's affecting the 2 hosts on this team. But I got news for you: if it affects some of the other people in the league in the way that it's affecting Geza and I, they're not going to be too happy, Larry.
I think if they just said, okay, we're postponing it to week 5 or whatever, then you guys can just treat it as a bye week and just kind of go from there.
Right.
But in this situation, it's...
I mean, and it still sucks that you're treating it like a bye week, that your team has 2 bye weeks.
Right. But that's something that you can...
At least you could deal with it. But yeah, then it becomes, but it's still problematic. I don't know.
Yeah, it's problematic, but yeah, I mean...
I mean, because even on a bye week, I mean, you plan like, all right, I have a bye week. I know I'm going to be, struggling for this. I'll deal with that. But to have to do with it twice if you have multiple players on the team and it's unexpected. I don't know. You could plan for I can plan in advance for a bye week, but I can't plan when you say on Thursday, like, yeah, well, you got a bye week now. Like, what would have been on I would have done something.
Yeah.
No, the league's like, okay, put those players away. You're not using them this week. What?
All right. Well, let's look at let's preview the games as the best we can. We could start at this shit show right here. The Finest take on the 1603ers in a battle of 2-1s. Woo. As you are favored 133.29 to 113.71. You're a 65% favorite. I have gone through this roster and I see almost no way, unless somebody goes off ridiculously for my team, to win this game. I mean, I have to hope that New England shuts down Mahomes. Look, Fitzpatrick has a good I've basically tried to maximize the matchups as much as I can, though even that's going to – I mean, like Preston Williams is the number 2 guy, so he's not even that good. Fitzpatrick against Seattle, all right, so he still has to match up against Metcalf. Like, they're in the same game. They're both –
just find a way. First of all, they're also going to the East Coast, and they just find a way to make games close. Like, every game is a shootout.
Right, which is what I'm saying. But if it's a shootout, then it's a shootout for both of us. And Metcalf is going to get his points too. So he's going to at least neutralize Williams, but he's probably going to do better than him. And Mahomes is probably going to do better than Fitzpatrick, even with a plus matchup.
And Mahomes has a tough matchup against New England.
I know, but he still should do better.
He's Mahomes.
Right. I mean, look, Beasley, he's been fine. He's just a 1603 staple. Uh, he'll get me double digits. Jefferson is an unknown. I have to hope that he actually is just a bust, a one-hit wonder, or that the game doesn't go off. I don't know. I mean, and then you get to the real meat of the problem, which is Eckler and Robinson. I mean, like,
yeah, and Robinson has a good matchup against Cincinnati.
Yeah, and I mean, Eckler does have a difficult matchup against Tampa Bay.
We got a lot of Dolphins. Jeez.
I know. I'm well aware that I do. It's all that was left. Trust me, Dolphins are available. When you're dumpster diving, there's a lot of half-eaten, discarded Dolphins in that bin. You'd be shocked at how many Dolphins are available.
SeaWorld, the SeaWorld squad.
Yeah, we're hanging out outside the SeaWorld trash bin. Yeah, Myles Gaskin. Yeah, Myles Gaskin. I mean, he's been fine. He's been getting double digits, but he's Myles Gaskin. Like, what do you want? Aaron Jones. Hopefully, will do well against Atlanta. Although, who knows? I mean, whatever. Gronk, because I picked up Ebron, which is who I wanted, but I don't know if he's going to play. That's the other thing. It's postponed, so they're still saying, like, maybe it'll play on Tuesday. In which case, I don't want Gronk on my team. I want to drop him. I want him to be gone. I don't want Gronk again.
But you can't risk it if they don't play on Tuesday. You can't have zero.
So when am I going to know? NFL, when am I going to know if I can drop Gronk and pick up somebody else? I don't know who that's going to be.
Tomorrow. I'm assuming.
Who knows?
Maybe Friday.
Yeah. I mean, Hunter Henry, he's been good enough to go against Gronk. I mean, Ayuk, like you said, we don't even know if if Deebo Samuel's going to be back. Who knows? Chris Carson, we actually don't know his status. But, I mean, don't worry. You have plenty of players that you picked up out of the garbage can to put in there. Randall Cobb, for example. I really have to hope that Minnesota game gets canceled. That's my only hope, is that Minnesota Houston game gets canceled. And
I'm actually thinking about
another game canceled.
If he's healthy, I might actually play Brown over Jefferson.
Sure.
So,
I mean, it's not a smart move. Why not? We'll just match up all our players in the same games, and you'll have the better receiver. By the way, if he's healthy, it is the smart move, because I'm playing the wide receiver 2 to your wide receiver 1s in the same games. Like, it's like unless injuries happen or there's just flukes, it's very hard to beat the team that has the wide receiver 1 when you're playing the 2s in the same game. So yes, strategically, and this is what I talk about a lot of the times with coaching, is I will strategically, and why I don't think like it should just be a total point thing. It's actually, there is strategy to play your opponent. I think that there is strategy to be said for doing something like that, to say like, okay, I wouldn't normally play this guy, but you're playing the wide receiver 2. I'm going to play the wide receiver 1 on the same team. Maybe Jefferson has a better game, but I know against you, certainly the wide receiver 1 should have a better game than your wide receiver 2. So,
I mean, I'm actually surprised Carson is still like has a chance to play. That injury looked pretty bad, so I would be really happy with that. And again, I have to play someone who's playing the Jets.
Oh yeah, well, actually, that was the one thing that I did do. I picked up this before. I picked the Denver defense. I didn't pick them up for last week. Last week, I kind of knew it was going to be a shit show, as you could tell from the podcast leading into that week.
Mm-hmm.
I think this week is going to be a shit show too, but I didn't know that all this shit was going to go down, so I couldn't plan for any of this. But the one thing that I did plan, I planned 2 weeks in advance to have the Denver defense, because they were going against the Jets on
Arizona. But
yeah,
I mean, talk about one of the worst Thursday night games in history of the NFL.
Yeah.
Denver against the Jets. Yuck.
Yeah, with a backup quarterback in Denver. I mean, frankly, the Jets defense might not be that bad a team to pick up either.
That's true.
Not to give anybody any advice. This show is not about giving anybody advice. This show is about mocking the decisions that were made, even when they're our own, and even when we're in no position. We're in a position unsuitable to give orders. It doesn't matter. Obviously, I'm picking your team, and that's not even facetious. Normally, it is, but I mean, come on. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You got to pick Manny's team, obviously. I know Harbakin's done the research, but you look up and down this roster, except for Jones, and you go,
I think the one plus you have is that all my guys, pretty much besides Mahomes, are going Sunday at 1:00.
I mean, it doesn't matter if we get our ass kicked at
You at least
1 or
have
if we get it
Monday
4.
night game to kind of, if you're only down by like 20, 25, you have your best player going. So
To drink for the afternoon away. That's what we have. We have some extra time to drink. That's what we're gonna do right now. Little pour right there, and then it's for the pain. All right. So
that'll
moving
be
on.
empty by mid-season.
That
bottle will be empty by mid-season.
This bottle will be empty by 4:00 on Sunday. All right. Moving on to the next game. Let's go to the next game. There's who knows what's going to be out there. The Hackasound Hagglers take on the Lightning Rods. Right now, the projection is 133.23 in favor of the Lightning Rods to 117 for the Hagglers.
That was before the 2 zeros, though.
Oh yeah. Do they count them? Could you at least move them? Did Yahoo freeze them so you're just completely fucked? Can you even move them out of there? Like, sorry, man, you already played these guys.
Yeah, there's 0 there.
What? Where's Lusky going? He's so disgusted he had to leave the room because he can't even deal with it. Well, all right, we'll discuss it when he's gone. Pardon the whatever difficulties. Okay. So Russell Wilson going against Miami. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good game right there.
Hopefully he passes it to Metcalf instead of fucking Lockett.
Hopefully he passes it. Hopefully he passes out. Odell Beckham Jr. at Dallas. And look, that's a good matchup. Allen Robinson, now that the vaunted Nick Foles is throwing him a decent matchup. Oh, geez, you're back. So yeah. So can you even move these players? Like, are they just locked? Like, sorry, you already played them. You're screwed.
Sorry, they were in your lineup. You're done.
They were in there when we postponed it.
Just, you know what? Just leave them there all season. What could happen?
They're quarantining.
Yeah. We're quarantining them in this section of your team. I mean, even if you do replace them, I don't know who you replace them with, especially with the quarterback. I don't know. I mean, it's got to be frustrating knowing that he's your nemesis. Right?
Oh, yeah.
This is your rivalry game normally.
Yeah, you guys always play really close games.
Well, it's not even that it's necessarily a close game. It's just always that they play games that it's like, what do you call it? Like, Gaten Casimir comes back and really beats you in a way that you can't stand. I think this just adds to the legacy of that. Mm-hmm. No?
Well, the problem is, I mean, we got bigger problems than rivalries right now. Nemesis and rivalries. I got to feel the team. My rivalry right now is the league. Commissioner Goodell and shenanigans. So once we're able to fill the team, we'll worry about who we're playing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I mean, it's hard to even. All right, so I mean, like, look at this. So if Tannehill was in there, and Corey Davis even, this is a way different projection than it is right now because you add 20 points, just even from Tannehill, and it's 130. You're actually favored if you have a quarterback.
It's pretty even across the board, except for the glaring goose eggs at the top.
Yeah.
We should all make a gentleman's rule. If your player gets shafted like this, your opponent should take out their 2 guys. How would that be?
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to want to take out Russell Wilson.
Can sit. Oh, who needs him?
Wink, wink. I took him out. What? Oh, I forgot.
He fell back in. How did that happen? Right before kickoff, somebody put him back in. The computer must have auto put him in. I don't think the computer can do that.
Also, I don't think that you could ask a player like. I mean, look, I would love to, but some people drafted the best quarterback in the league, and they're like, "Well, look, my quarterback is out." Gentleman's agreement says that. Look. Trubisky is out this week or whatever. Or
don't forget, this lineup could get worse because Cook might not even play.
I mean, the shenanigans that would happen here would be
like the zeros all the way down my lineup.
Yeah, because Cook could be out too. But let me tell you, if the gentleman's rule was you have to take out the corresponding player, let me tell you something. I'm gonna find whoever my opponent's best player is, and I'm drafting a Covidian to put opposite them. Go. Sorry, you have to take out. You're gonna have to just. You're just gonna have to eat it. You're gonna have to take out Russell Wilson. I mean, it's gentleman's agreement. Oh, what? Kamara? Yeah, I picked up this RB1. Out of the dumpster. You're gonna have to take him out.
Wait, so what are you saying? That 0 could be gone by Tuesday?
Maybe.
What's the NFL saying? Well, this postpone as you go into the schedule.
If they play the game on either Monday or Tuesday, then it will count towards this week. So then you can play Tannehill and Davis on Monday or Tuesday for this week.
Right, but here's the problem. Here's the problem. As we get to Monday night and they decide, no, now what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. Then you're screwed.
Or they decide, yep. And you've already played jabronis who got nothing.
Right.
Oh, by the way, your players are in now. Oh, look at that. They blew it up on your – I don't even know where they are because they can't even be on your team. They blew it up in free agency.
They blew it up on the Whalers.
On the Whalers, right. Good luck.
On the Whalers bench, on the Whalers 25
week
bench.
First of all, where's this magic announcement of when the game's going to be? It's already Wednesday going into Thursday.
They'll either announce it probably tomorrow or
never.
Friday.
Or Wednesday they'll announce it that the game's going on Tuesday. The game went on Tuesday night late. You missed it.
I mean, I don't see how you play on Monday. 1 day of practice, really? That's what we're gonna do? I mean, Tuesday maybe. And then how is that gonna affect the drafting for the next week? I mean, when are those players gonna be released? Like, if the game goes on Tuesday and I want to pick up any Titans in free agency, or if I want to drop any Titans in free, can you even drop them at that point? Because the game's going to end and then the free agent auction period's basically done.
It's done, yeah.
Yeah, I know. It would have to be like a Monday night game. What's the Monday night game this week? Oh, Packers and Falcons.
Yeah, but I mean, you can add a second Monday night game. I mean, they do that in the first week of the season. That's not even the issue. The issue is whether or not you could have ask a team to play with 1 day of practice while Pittsburgh has been playing and practicing completely normally. I know you think that it's all Zoom. It's all done on Zoom. It doesn't matter. It's all video. It doesn't matter if you work out and you're sitting on your couch eating Haagen-Dazs all week. You can just suit up in it.
I feel like practice in the NFL has diminished over the years. Now it's maybe
to the point where you don't need it at all.
Have you noticed all of the injuries?
Yes, it is.
What?
I'll tell you what. I'll go out and practice running around. You sit on your couch and eat Haagen-Dazs, and then we'll play. We'll see what kind of game each one of us has.
Yeah, I'll train for a week. I mean, look, I'm already out of shape. I'll train for a week. And you just eat some Hostess cupcakes, and then we'll meet again on Sunday, and then we'll see who does better. And I'm not even in shape.
You're going to be a different shape, all right.
I'm already getting to a different shape, but we're not even talking about me at this point. All right. I mean, I don't know. So, obviously, I'm contingently picking the Lightning Rods but I don't know who or what is going to be on the. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the Hagglers. I don't know. Find some refuse that they put in there and win. But I'm at this point. I have no choice. Being that it seems like the entire Lightning Rods team is going to obviously go, I have no choice but to pick them.
Yeah, I have to pick them too because they have people who can play.
Yeah. I mean, because Cook could be gone too. Dalvin Cook could be gone too.
Dalvin Cook could be out of this lineup too. I mean, and remember, the hard part is not like there's nowhere to put these men. there's no bench space. So that's the problem.
Because you also have Madison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I have the most valuable handcuff as far as running backs go besides Davis.
Yeah, and I guarantee you somebody's going to pick up Madison. I mean, every latte show in the country is always like, you got to get Madison. You're ready, There's no way that you could drop him and just have him not be picked up.
There's no commissioner's exemplars to hide him in, to stash him away.
I know. Well, we'd have to look. I'm a pretty evil genius, but I'm sure there's a way that people could, even with a commissioner's exempt list, find their way around it. But I think that might be the most plausible thing to do if we are going to consider something to do.
I actually think it's better if you make them like we add like one or two bench spot. But can you modify it as a commissioner in the middle of the season?
I believe so, but I don't know. Never tried.
Okay.
You might be able to. We might be able to. I mean, we would have to have legislation around it, that specifies exactly what it is. I mean, you could add 2 bench spots, but you have to say that those bench spots are not able to be used unless it's COVID players.
But I think that's
and you can only keep them on that bench for a situation like this, and only until a certain time. Like, you can't just inevitably they were on, Tannehill's just been on there since week 4. Just gonna keep him there forever. He once had it. That's it. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott had COVID back in May. I'm gonna put him on there, right? That's eligible, right? You'd have to take him out of those bench spots within the period of time. I mean, it's something that we should maybe discuss in the group chat or something. See if we could get 7 or 6 people to agree to it and have the tiebreaker. But I don't know.
But then once they're available to play again, then do they still have the option of dropping them?
They'd have to drop them. They would have to put them on their bench and drop somebody else, or they'd have to drop them. Yeah. At that point, once the period of time is done, I think that's what we'd have to do. Right? I mean, I don't know.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, what if this is more than a week thing?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, once it's no longer a cloud hanging. I don't know, or I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
It just goes on and go on and on and on and on all season long.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we have to get 7 people to agree anyway, so we could see if we can, but formulate your proposals and let's see if we can get something passed for the time being. If not, we'll just keep going on like this. All right, moving on to the next game. Dave's Secret Crush versus the Wakanda Panthers. So, who is Goskowski is obviously I'm going to pick Wakanda right now that the best player on the team is out, and oh, that's going to hurt Eugene. Ouch.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Ouch. Kicker's out.
I mean, Derrick Henry's out for Dr. Hockey.
That's funny. That's less devastating than the kicker.
At this point, how much did Derrick Henry get? He got 27, so he got slightly more than the kicker.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, both of their teams' best players are out this week. So, I mean, this is another tough one to call. I mean, look, Lamar has not been Lamar, but he's going against Washington. I think the football team, he has a bounce back. Galladay seemed to be pretty good in his return, and he's going against New Orleans. Tyler Boyd has been good. But if Henry is not going to play, that completely fucks him. But if he plays, and if he plays on one day of practice, expect him to be on the real IR the next week. Taylor, I mean, he's going against Chicago. I don't think that he has that great a game. Mo Alley Cox. I mean, he's good, but I mean, I think.
Oh, he learned the lesson to play Diggs.
Yeah, Diggs against Vegas. I mean, where's Montgomery? I guess you could slide Montgomery right into that Derrick Henry spot. Kansas City defense. All right, so then for Dave's secret crush, he's got Prescott against Cleveland. I think that's going to be a snoozer of a game. I actually think it's going to be a low-scoring slog fest with a bunch of handoffs. Or a complete, but because I said that, it's probably going to be a shootout now. McLaurin against Baltimore. I don't know. Are you going to be more than satisfied? I mean, this guy has been nothing so far, but he keeps hanging on. Jacobs against Buffalo. Actually, I think Jacobs is going to have a good game against Buffalo this week. Miles Sanders, obviously, count him for the 20.
Oh, sure, of course. He's going to average 20.
He averages. Actually, because he got only 14 last week, I think he's going to get, what is that? He's got to average it, so he's got to get 26. He's going to get about 26 this week.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, 26 for Sanders, obviously. Chalk it up. Kelsey versus New England. And then Mike Davis, he's finally putting him in against Arizona. We'll see. I think Mike Davis is actually going to do well because they're clearly – I mean, he's not going to get McCaffrey numbers, but they're using him in a McCaffrey-like manner enough to get enough PPR points to be pretty decent. And then he's got, the Rams defense going against the Giants. Although the Giants don't give up as many points as you would think because they suck. And you'd think they give up way more, but they do give up some points. And Kansas City against New England maybe has to replace him there. So I am obviously, I mean, look, the projection is 65-35. I'm obviously picking Dave's secret crush at this point, but I don't know. Oh, he didn't play Lamb. He's not playing Lamb. AJ Green, Fuller. What's going on here? All these people that he touts is the amazing, wonderful, maybe one of them can kick. They're all on the bench. What's going on? Gibson. I mean, I got a text about Gibson the other day too. Something like who he is now.
I'd play Rodgers this week against Atlanta.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I would too. Just because the potential for the shootout that game versus what it would be about Prescott. But I mean, we don't know anything about football, so obviously we will. Right. We're a bunch of homeless people that don't know anything about football. So I'm sure if Eugene did that, he would be taking advice from us. So he would never do that. I mean, look, he's already got his lineup set, and he could never admit that we were right about something if Rodgers were to go in there this week. So I guess he's just not going to put him in there because that would have to mean that we were right about something.
Well, then I'll just say Will Fuller is going to get hurt.
Well, all right.
Will Fuller is, well, if I say he's not going to get hurt, then he will get hurt. But
I don't know. Well, Will Fuller is going to have COVID.
He's going to have to go back to Montgomery. With Derrick Henry potentially out.
I mean, look, Montgomery is not that awful a play given the fact that although he has no place to put him, he just doesn't know unless Henry's out. That's the other thing. I mean, because he's got Diggs, Galladay, and Boyd. You play all of them.
The Whalers is just waiting until one of these people drop a Titan or a Steeler.
Oh, Whalers is just licking his chops. I know. Look at the smorgasbord that the raccoons eat in the dumpster.
He is just absolutely.
Look at all these tasty morsels about to fall into the dumpster.
If he's not busy in the neighborhood practicing NBA for his next championship, he's busy hanging out in the dumpster with his phone by his side.
He's got dumpster watch.
He does. He keeps the phone by his side. He's practicing in the NBA over there for his next championship. Occasionally, I guess he throws some gruel at the kids. But other than that, that's what he does. All right. moving on. Gronky Kong versus the Tillet Trey team. Wow, a team that actually doesn't look that to be that affected by this COVID situation. I mean, the Pittsburgh defense.
Oh, we have Adams and Jones back in the lineup?
Wow. Well, I mean, they're questionable, but
Never mind.
I mean, look, if they could actually go, he could be a non-atrocious team.
Well,
I mean, I don't know. Look, Thielen
coming back. I haven't heard anything about him coming back this week.
I haven't either, but I don't know. Who knows? I mean, they at least have games, so that's good. I mean, he should at least move Cohen onto actual IR now that he's eligible. The Pittsburgh defense, look, if that game goes, I think you almost have to play the Pittsburgh defense, which is practicing all week versus the team that has the 1 day of practice. But unfortunately, I mean, so he has Baltimore against the football team. I mean, I don't even know what you do there. I think you just drop it over to the Whalers. Let him snarf that up. One of those two. Although he has the space. If you drop Cohen into the IR, you free up some space to be able to do something, so you don't have to drop it right to the Whalers. Yeah. So for Gronky Kong, Allen against the Raiders, I think. I mean, Allen just seems to be good. Thielen. I mean, the interesting thing about Thielen is if Jefferson is actually going to emerge as a Stephon Diggs-like player, you know, it opens stuff up for him, but it closes things down as well. Like,
I mean, if there's even a game for them.
Yeah, if there's even a game.
That's not going to happen.
I know, that one looks more likely to go forward, but yes.
Come on.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, if Devontae Adams and Julio Jones goes, then, you know, that's good for them. Malcolm Brown at the football team. I mean, Malcolm Brown, who did nothing last week, might have a bounce back game.
No, it's Marquise Brown.
Whatever. I don't care.
M. Brown.
I don't care. I really don't. I'm already a couple drinks in. So Gurley got 15. All right. Wow.
Gurley man.
Chubb. Yeah, Chubb's. Damn, look at that. Waller, do you think he gets the points this week, or what do you think happens with that?
Yeah, he's due for a bounce back game.
Right, which is why Renfro sucks, which is why I took him out of the lineup. Keenan Allen, I mean, this guy was targeted 19 times last week.
Ooh.
Wow.
19 times, 13 receptions, 132 yards, and a touchdown. Herbert likes himself some Keenan Allen. Clearly, he is a force to be reckoned with on the burner team. Yeah, I mean, oh my God. So David Johnson and Frank Snore going fun. Oh my God. I mean, they're going on Thursday too. So Gronky Kong moves to 3-1.
Yeah, and Julio and Devontae are still questionable.
Doesn't matter. Yep. All right. I mean, anybody else picking Tillet Trey in this game?
No, I got to pick Gronky Kong. I mean, even if those two guys. Well, Devontae Adams could change this, but there's just too many. Unless Thielen, you know, if there's no game for Thielen, there's still a lot of things up in the air. But I got to pick Gronky Kong.
Yeah, I mean, based on what we see now, it looks like teams might actually have players that go. Yeah.
Josh Allen is going nuts. I mean, he might have another big game against Vegas. They're not.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Okay. So moving on to the next game, Nick and Jamie versus Amunda, the Garbage Bards, the one that was dubbed the Garbage Bards, but they're no raccoons. Their devastating loss going against Zamunda. Well, Deshaun Watson, we'll see if he even plays. But presuming that he does, he's going against Minnesota, and Minnesota sucks, so he could have a good game. Kyler Murray going against Carolina. I think that he'll have a good game as well. Cooper Kupp going against the Giants. He'll do well. Calvin Ridley at Green Bay on Monday night. Expect him to have a huge game. Elliott versus Cleveland. I think that's going to be a run-heavy game. I think Elliott does well. Kamara at Detroit. I mean, this is what we're kind of talking about if Michael Brown comes back, which we don't even know yet. But if he does this take away from Kamara's points? I don't think that much. he is somebody that's affected by because he picked up Jimmy Graham, but that's only because, Jonnu Smith, his Tannehill's lover, yes, hot tub mate might not be playing, so his replacement here. And the kicker, I'm assuming he did the same thing with him, because he's got Jonnu Smith and DeAndre Johnson, so on the COVID bench-ish thing, and then the Seattle defense at Miami. And for Nick and Jamie, so Tyreek Hill actually showed up, but he's playing against New England this week. Gallup, what's he been doing? I mean, he had a good game last week, but that was against Seattle, and he's underperformed otherwise. And I think that he's going to, underperform this week in Cleveland. I really do think that game script is just going to be very run heavy. Drake's Cakes. Look, this is a plus matchup for Drake. Carolina is one of the worst teams against the run. However, he has not been performing that well, and I think a lot of it funnels through the wide receivers on that team. But if he's going to have he has to have it now. I mean, so he had 14, 11.5, and then 8.9. I mean, so it's not horrible, but that's not really your wide receiver. I mean, your running back one numbers. So, and the 14, by the way, was with a touchdown. So he needs to have a good game here. And for his sake, hopefully he does. Mixon has been pretty pedestrian as well. 6.1, 12.6, and 8.5 going against Jacksonville. I mean, Ertz will get an uptick in touches now that Goater.com is on injured reserve. I mean, take out Larry Fitzgerald for the love of God. I mean, if Devontae Adams is back, I mean, Lazard isn't as relevant, but I mean, Miller might be. I mean, given that, the MVP of the league, Nick Foles.
Rodgers is really spreading the wealth, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many better options than Larry Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald is not. I mean,
9.
7.4, 12, 1. I mean, he had one reception for 0 yards. I mean, I think that you could bench him. And Butker, I mean, obviously you got to play him, but you got to be pissed at him. And then the San Francisco defense against Philadelphia. That's not a bad play, given that Philadelphia is so decimated right now. Obviously, I'm going to pick Zamunda to win this game. I just don't see that this is the week that Nick and Jamie turns this around.
I got to go with Zamunda as well.
Yep, Zamunda.
Okay. And that leaves us with, I believe, the last week of the game, right? Or the last game of the week.
The week of the game. Our back is 3 sheets to the wind. That leaves us with the last week of the game.
Woo! Wow.
Anybody playing Dave this week, you're going to have a pretty good week.
All right. It's that kind of season. I'm going to have to get drunk the whole time. Let's see. The Blues are taking on the Raccoons. Right now, the Raccoons are favored with the current iteration of their lineup, with James Conner having 0 points in the lineup. Oh, does that mean that the Whalers needs to drop themselves some James Conner? I can't even talk anymore. Because if so, I will be hanging in that dumpster. Let me tell you something, Whalers. I will keep my phone on alert.
Let's see who's going to get shaken out of the Whalers' raccoon nest.
Oh, A.J. Brown right there. Maybe he'll come back to me. Come back.
Look at all these people. He's got to look. Somebody's got to go. Look at these names. These are pretty juicy.
I know. Devonta Freeman, you just paid a bunch of money for him. Maybe we'll pick up some Tom Brady back. Mustard. Oh, there's your Mustard. That was in the trade, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so actually that was like
Whalers.
Mustard's MCL better.
I think week 5 is what the latest that I read.
Shepherd,
but
5.
Wait, 1, 2,
and he also doesn't have a kicker, by the way.
5, 6, 7. So he can't even do anything until he drops somebody because he has 7 people and only.
Yeah. Well, here I'll move this
6
over
can
for a
be on the
second.
bench, and none of those guys are out.
His timetable to return is unclear. Not needed against the Giants woeful team. I think week 5. I mean, it's not saying anything else, but I think week 5. So I don't think he's going to be back this week, which means that, and he has to get a kicker. I guess, or maybe not. I don't know.
Well, he's not going to bring a kicker on. It won't let him bring a kicker in until he drops somebody.
No, it will because the 7 bench players are because there's nobody in the kicker spot. Oh, yeah. No, he has to drop somebody in order to get it. You're right.
They won't even allow him to bring a kicker in unless he measures up bench-wise.
Right. Is Kittle coming back this week? Was a full go in Wednesday practice. And then Connor. If Connor's out.
I actually offered Whalers a trade for Kittle, and he was very absolutely not. He's the best tight end in the league. I mean, that offense is so decimated. I mean,
Look, I'm pretty sure.
Great.
I mean, look, he could drop Slayton.
Yeah.
I mean, there's enough garbage on this team that he could drop. Obviously, you drop Slayton at this point.
Right. I think there are better tight ends in the league than Kittle. I would take Kelsey. I'd take Waller.
Yeah, so you drop Slayton, and you got to move one of these guys up.
Yeah, but Slayton is for the kicker.
No, it's not. It's just to be able to. You have to move one of these guys up into the Slayton spot.
Yeah, but also you need to drop Slayton just to get room for a kicker.
Theoretically making him unable to make any moves. So he drops Slayton, and he's moving one of these guys into the flex, any of them. Then he has to go get a kicker.
And then he has to do something about Connor.
And then he's safe, actually. Then he doesn't have to do anything. Oh, yeah, then he has to do something about Connor, but that could be easily remedied with Ingram or Freeman.
Yeah, such a remedy. I mean, James Conner.
Pretty crappy remedy.
I mean, that's more like chopping off the leg.
Those remedies are sold at CVS.
I didn't say it was a good remedy.
It's like leeches. My God, like one point for him. Yeah.
The point is, he doesn't have to drop anybody into anybody else's arms.
That's the biggest concern.
For now. Are you just not even going to go? Okay. And then for Cyberdyne, who coincidentally has no injuries. No, he does. Godwin. But he has doesn't he have Mike Evans? Yes. So that's a benefit for him. So now he doesn't have to think about Godwin. I'll just put in Mike Evans. Mike Evans will do well. Andrews, I think that he's got to replace him with Hawkinson. I think Hawkinson has a good week this week. Goff against the Giants should do well. DeAndre Hopkins against Carolina should do well. Amari Cooper versus Cleveland. I've been saying all day that I don't think that this is going to be a big game, which means it'll probably be a huge shootout. Sony Michel. Really? Why is this happening? 16 points. Yeah, that's not going to. After 1-9, I think. What? I know.
Ran the ball a lot last week. Burkhead had a big game.
I just can't figure out New England ever. Latavius Murray. Let's see. See, is Whalers going to go? Fuck. Is Whalers going to go 2-2, and the Blues are going to go 3-1? Cyberdyne, get your shit together. We got to get this shit together, man. He's going to be right back in this. You fucks. Figure this out. Who do you want?
Why are you playing New England's defense against Kansas City? I mean, that's another thing.
Because it's the computer. The algorithm said to. Because they just keep getting. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe the algorithm will be right. What do I know? Certainly.
I'd play Andrews over Hawkinson, but you got to get New England's defense out, and you got to. I would put Robert Woods in there against the Giants.
I'm actually all right. Well, Andrews against Washington, so
Michelle, you got to get out of there, and Latavius Murray, you got to get out of there too. I mean, Kamara gets all the touches.
I mean, Rojoke actually had a good game last week, if I recall, because Fournette certainly did not. So I'm only assuming that it went somewhere. It's not that good.
And Mustard is still out, so McKinnon might still be a good play there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, don't worry. This Cyberdyne will know what to do at that point. It knows. It's calculating. It's the spinning wheel right now. It's the spinning wheel, just trying to figure out. It's like the
Well, we need to have less 2-2 teams. You know.
Oh, we will.
So.
Well,
what was the lowest record to make a playoffs?
Ever?
Yeah.
6 and 7, wasn't it?
6 and 7.
Yeah,
So.
6 and
Nick
7.
and Jamie.
Yeah. That's very rare.
But
7 and 6
if
usually.
4-0, they're solidly in first place, and then
7 and 6 usually makes it. If the Blues win this game, they move to 4-0. They're probably in a good position to at least make the playoffs. But who knows with this season? It's a total crapshoot.
Yeah.
All right. I have nothing else on this league this league this week. Reminder to everybody else, because I know that you're all big golf fans, the Center Golf Association Tour is now open, so you can play your first event, which is the Jumeirah Club in Dubai. That should actually be fun. The basement or what do you call it? The Center Basketball Association. It's very interesting. It's heating up. It's exciting. It's exciting, except John and Whalers are once again in first place facing each other this week. So it'll be an interesting matchup there. What else is going on in the center? I don't know. I'm getting drunk. That's it. I don't know. And then, this stuff. This fantasy football league. Oh, are we still on? Anybody else have anything to add? You're gonna be golfers? You're gonna go golf?
No, I think I'm gonna pass on golf. Too busy.
I know it's so busy. I'm so busy too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna golf. Definitely golfing. I have a ridiculous character. I don't have the mustache yet. I might add the mustache to my character. All right.
Have a good week. Hope all these players play.
Yeah. Hopefully there's games.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, hopefully there's games. Unless your opponent, I'm too drunk to even come up with a funny thing. All right. Have a good night.
All right.
Until next week. Good luck this week. Bye, everyone.